Okay, I'm in Francis's chair. How's that? Yes, I am. I'm in Francis Simmons, town clerk. I'm right here. I've got the little. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? How now, brown cow? How does your garden grow? 407 years ago, the cow jumped over the moon. He didn't enjoy it because it was very rocky and cold. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I thought I was pretty good.
Good. That's good. Yeah. Hopefully that'll help when I'm transcribing.
Well, what we were talking about is not how loud
Hey, how are you?
We have the same one up there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good. Put it on the table for them. Yeah, that would be good.
Uh, 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll do a motion ceremony. So we'll all be lined up. And they'll call it, they'll read proclamation out here. And then somebody, my dad will come up. My dad. He's going to step back and salute me. What do I do with this? Left here. Yeah, I will be behind you. Well, right. All right. Oh, a chair over here. You want the chair there? Yeah. I heard. Wear something I've never I would go. Dress down. I'll step on them. I know.
So is this me? It's Cynthia. I'm next over here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, better late than never. Exactly. Exactly. I certainly will share this with them. 2019. That was a good year. Not really for me.
No, that was great. Thanks for putting that together.
Absolutely.
Hey, Cynthia, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm dressing cool. Trying to be cool. I can't fool anybody.
Here,
I'm good.
is that what that is?
I guess, yeah.
Francis, is this the microphone so that they can actually hear us now?
Right.
That's so much better. Good.
Well, I hope my fan doesn't disrupt the reception. It might sound like, you never know.
How are you?
If you're good, I'll point it your way. If you're not, you'll just have to talk.
So I just have
Papa Black.
found with it going for a while now.
Learn the art.
If you wanna- if you wanna leave it running,
High school.
That's.
I'll leave that.
Yeah.
Probably 2 hours.
Yep.
All right. Oh,
Hey,
this is
Ashley,
the,
how are you? Good.
I know what this is.
Tired.
This is the-
Yeah, right?
Saw on YouTube.
Like the, did you?
What the pledge or, prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do a.
I know I took the last. We're gonna have like a regular. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
thanks,
That's
man.
fine.
So anyway, so the plan is that starting next.
Rotation.
And we'll do it next week.
Okay, all right, very good. How's it going, Dan? Troy, how are you doing? So far, so good. Yeah, one should. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
But today was not our best day. She woke up at 4 o'clock. So did I. Like, she would go back to sleep. Like, all right. Fine, forget, we got a hearing aid.
I guess we'll be
Here now. And we've got some more doctor appointments. And stuff. She's getting settled in, although today she was like, so I'm glad the next guy who comes to stay here. I'm like, you are the next guy. No one else is coming in. Just you.
Before we get started going, try to meeting we can fit running. We would have this now. And I've tested it with town with it, with this running. And it seems okay. So I don't know.
If we gonna do it? Oh, yeah.
I'm all about the cool.
What's going on?
Compressor failed.
Oh, no.
So, and it's not a off the shelf compressor.
Of course.
So it ships from Texas.
At least it should.
Everything.
Proprietary parts.
Right, County James Island, Redmond County Council meeting is hereby called to order. To take care of the open exercise.
I would be happy to, thank you. Y'all, I'd like to offer a moment of silence in recognition of the Emmanuel victims. So if you bow your heads and have a moment of silence. Thank you. And now, Pledge of Allegiance, should I get the flag out there?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilman Milliken.
So next we have public comment. There being no public comments, we will next under the consent agenda is a motion to approve minutes of last meeting.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passed. Next, we'll go to the finding. report. Carol.
So, I'm sorry,
I'm so sorry.
Meryl, I'm having a hard time hearing you here. Could you repeat what you just said? I'm sorry. No, just on the public works part that you were doing.
Under project, stop sign. 4150. Facility for equipment. Facility maintenance. $400 for fire sensor and wireless camera. Wireless. The increase in those street lights for additional street lights on Great Triangle and upgrade to W. Care program. Capital project under visual facility. Ready to do the project, work by neighbors with on the computer. Because they're not allowing the people. $950 quality review. It's a program where, is both, not only utilize, big responsibility, helping. So that was actually a research.
Questions for
Okay, so we had advertised a bid for on-call, like concrete and asphalt work, apron repairs, sidewalk repairs. Get no bid. Actually never happened. So that was supposed to the county to maybe help me structure it, but I think really it's kind of a time of time right now. Everybody's busy. Maybe something to wait after re-advertise, but I'll look at that, again. There's been a preliminary audit work, next, our next, audit, and these next couple months, we're doing a lot of the stormwater reimbursement, a lot of summary funds over, projects that maybe didn't finish up this year, but rest of this year. Had a meeting with Katie Rhodes, put us in touch with, Attorney Columbia, that does work with, lobbying work. And so that out for bid as well. And discussing with them, as we're about to go into our new fiscal year, the call sharing for the Jamestown Creek watershed study is budgeted where we would, basically we've got 60% and they have 40% of that watershed. And then on the, we'll update American Recovery Fund. We still have not received ours. So that, city ourselves haven't received it yet. Taking that before the end of August. Our preliminary number was around a little over 6 million. However, they had capped that at 75% of the total annual operating budget going back to the end of, or the beginning of January 2020. So for us, that's our fiscal year 1920. So looking at those budget numbers, what we expect to be able to get reimbursed for is about 3.7 million. And I was working up more information about that and the timeline. You have 3 years in the money, but actually projects get started or funds can get committed within the next 3 years, and we have until 2026 to close them out. So really, it's more like we'll look at some of the projects we have that are kind of shovel ready. So we do have a timeline to get this funds spent first for. So hopefully we'll have something for you, a better summary that you all can look at as well. And so all I have, James is very good right now. Like 16 cases.
Questions?
Yes, I have a question about the 501c3. Is the town staff going to pretty much populate the board of the 501c3?
That's thought, yes. And I actually have got to finish up that paperwork as far as the articles of incorporation and the board of directors. I think I was looking at it. And so we edited it and I have not reviewed it.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Right. Any further questions? Okay, thank you. So next we go to the public works report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hope you can hear me. This is my beer vending voice back in the day. Back in May report. So there were 70 requests for service in May. We were granted delivery. Staff responded to all requests. Staff facilitated meetings between DSP and DOT concerning the drainage culvert at Hill Bluff Road and Hill Summer Drive. Rehabilitation of that culvert will take place in this year when DOT will line it. They have the money earmarked for it. There's some fiscal year things are. So in July, they'll start scheduling that work, and it's going to be hand in hand with DSP proximity to their gravity control line. And I'll go over the whole thing right there. So, yes.
Just regarding that project, there's also a lot of erosion on either side on the shoulders. And I think that's a concern. So you're going to rebuild the shoulder and put some gravel. Okay, great. Thanks.
That's all part of the project.
Great.
Staff participated in the drainage committee meeting. We got a lot of stormwater managers. We participated in the final inspection of the drainage improvements on River Road. Fabulous. That project already not finished yet. Started the outfall way back. But that bottleneck is taken care of. Improvement in the drainage along there because of that bottleneck. Participated in the Jamestown Task Force meeting, facilitated with the help of the rabies ID chicken event, town hall, dogs and cats. 177 vaccines were given out, 29 microchips. Wow. And it big success, and another event that helped fall. Staff participated in the webinar on the National Weather Service about the proper then I want to mention that at the June stormwater management meeting, Charleston County and City of Charleston decided to start placing snipe sites in neighborhoods that don't contain backyard ditches. Topic of discussion for a while with us. You know, can I get a schedule of what you're going to do? Well, it's scheduled for the 6-month period. That's the best that I can get out. So discussing it for a year. Snipe signs say it's by the City of Charleston, this is by Charleston County, by Town of James Bond, look in your neighborhood, next slide, ditches. Look for us in your backyards. That's going to start. So, also at the June stormwater management, SDOT announced they will start cleaning problem culverts at outfall first Tuesday of every month here on James Bond. So places that clog up regularly are going to get their back up to the crossing stores. First Tuesday every month to work on those. They also said that they're going back to their pre-COVID scheduling to have a 30-day turnaround. That's very ambitious. I will hold them to that, but they are shooting for a 30-day turnaround on work requests. Staff cleaned 6 times in May, installed 25-mile-per-hour signs, built 4 potholes, they added material and cut vegetation out of the right of way with driver vision in various locations. That's our big push this summer.
Question?
At the pet helpers event, you did happen to cross a litter at Bullpup.
I don't recall.
Seen in the papers. You know, it's a joke. I'll tell you about it.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. I would share control board Lieutenant James.
Sure. Couple things to pass on in the last 30 days that I don't think that we're, of course, it's summertime. You know what happens summertime? Get hot, they come outside, and see the sort of crime wave a little bit. We had Styles Point, both on the same night, right at the same time. We had 2 people that were unlocked that were entered. We had $300 stolen by one vehicle and $30 stolen by the other. The board on leads on that. That was on May 14th. Between the May 10th and May 12th, we had a vehicle tag stolen from Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was on London Drive. The other 2, just to back up for a South Point Clearview, Waterloo. Over on Stone Boats for 5:15, May 15th. Around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we had a vehicle, a Dunlop, and a Ruger 22 stolen. Not covered that yet. So on Green Hill Road, and I talked to the detective today about this, we had a shots fired and armed robbery here at 1061 Green Hill Road on May 22nd. And we've kind of poked some holes now on the story, doesn't sound right. I'll read you originally what was sent out. Was 3 black males from 18 approached this guy, Dodge Charger, and they had a black buffer with a piece of piston out. And truck was shot several times and didn't hit any of the subjects. They took $1,000. He stayed with the flood possible Charleston prior to arriving at the location. But there was no shell casing, no damage to the people there. So we don't believe it actually happened at the same time. We believe they didn't stay there for a good reason. So that's what we think is going on with that. So far, that's the fault. We did have 5 white-tailed juveniles over on Fort Johnson Estates on Jeff Stewart Road, where board starts and built on our vehicle. And they said this is occurring more often lately. Her husband's on the sex offender registry, so what we think is they found out and retaliation for that. We don't know. We got a burglary to Verizon, 864 Poly Road on May 26th, 4:49 a.m. And there was a 44mm Apple iWatch. We did recover a stolen vehicle off the ALPR. We had a license plate reader hit on a stolen car with the blue 2017 Jeep Renegade. We worked with the City of Charleston and Jordan Ferrero, a white male that is 20 years old, fled at a high rate of speed, he got pursued, and he actually ended up getting hit with stop sticks, and he admitted to stealing the car in West Ashley, that it was unlocked the eastern side, so he could charge the bill stop. We like Reynolds for people. The other thing on Yorktown, we had some shots fired, two nights in a row, but shots fired. One hit a house. The house that they hit was not a target house whatsoever. We're not sure, haven't solved it. They text went whole video. There's a vehicle that kind of was flying to the stop sign. We're not sure if people somebody just shot out the window, fired out the window. They went through their house and actually went through the window and went into like a jar of paint. And they heard it. And they've been there for a long time. They've been there for like 40 years. Never had any problems. Next night, there was shots fired. We didn't find any cases, but we did have shots fired the next night. We've been over there a whole lot. Haven't happened since. But we've done it again. We also stopped a couple subjects in the local area here, and both of them had guns. They're both federally prohibited, possessing ammo and firearms. And that was one of our James Allen guys that did that. Both were charged. And we recovered a stolen moped following Harbor View on June 10th. Dustin Ray Moody was charged with driver's license for receiving stolen goods. Being stopped on moped. Yeah, the reference to that, I think that's pretty much what we have as far as that should be. The other night on George Street, we had some shots fired. It's two mopeds. They're saying the Grace man shot them. One mom calls the sheriff's office, or calls the city of Charleston, and said, "Hey, my son was shot at, but I'm not going to tell you where he's at. I'm not going to tell you where I live. I don't want you to come talk to me." Then another guy says, "Yeah, we were shot at, but it was Bible parking lot." What we think is they meet there in the Bible parking lot, shots fired, leave out the Bible parking lot, cut down Jordan. They're going that way. A couple more shots fired. I talked to a lady, sent me an email. I talked to her even yesterday. There's been no sightings. We sent patrol cars over there every 2 hours before we're working, and we've had nothing else to refer like that. Congress picked up not only James Allen, picked up all across the town, of course, across the county. So we noticed a big time. Warm weather, people now are allowed to get out of their house. Last year, and always picked up. So we'll see.
Any questions?
Congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm not going anywhere. I won't be leaving James Allen. They'll have to carry me. So I won't go anywhere. What were you saying, ma'am?
Sorry, the parade, is it okay? One day?
The brakes?
The parade?
Oh, the parade. Parade, yes. We did a parade earlier for, they had 5 championship teams from lower state, then 4 state championship teams. So we had 9 of us do a big escort, block all the intersections and everything around town. We did one for the seniors, and it went great. I mean, there was probably 100 people throughout James Island, if not more than that. That would stay on the top road with signs and everything. Wonderful. We didn't hold up traffic anywhere.
It's kind of dangerous timing of rush hour, so you
It
pulled
was.
it off.
We were doing 15 to 20. Everybody was excited.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I decided to see the ones that weren't excited. But I'll tell them to call you down. Probably.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, next is a request for approval on the first is Davis Floyd grant for open seat. Ashley, would you please?
Follow up from our last meeting. Probably the best way to look at this is the A and B, which is 6,200. Those items are the dock related, and then C and D are the parking and drainage permitting related. And Chris Haynes with David Floyd is here. Y'all have any specific questions I can answer.
Well, is there a motion?
So moved.
A second? Second, and so, and then any questions for Ashley?
Yes, it says in the Davis and Floyd prospectus here under D about the plan for revision permitting. Has the town had discussions with the city of Charleston regarding the need for TRC meeting?
Yeah, and this is for, DOT permitting related, so we have had those discussions, with council Jackson, has spoken to people, and they don't see, a problem with the changes.
All right, so the drainage, elimination of those drainage features is going to pose a problem.
He does not believe that. Doesn't
So procedurally, will it still go to TRC?
I don't think so. I don't think, according to Council Jackson. we can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions?
For items A and B, those are dog related, said, so those were not, are those the same as cost wise as what we had on prior cost plan?
Back in September last year. No, because that cost back in September last year included like full construction of a different larger dock and permitting that. This is to get the, change of permit, right? And to, do the conceptual design and get that permitted with OCR. Is that right? Okay.
The construction plan was roughly $20,000.
I think they were better. I think they were a little higher.
Any other questions? Other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay, so next, we have the LPR camera on Harvey Road, right?
Yes, we have, Henry back here with us tonight, with NPRIS. Is how you, so we have two different options. We have the solar option and we have the power fed option. And I've kind of included some things to keep in mind, as far as, you know, the power fed is going to need an arm, to be able to get both lanes across the road. Sean can speak to a little bit more about where we have to put it. Like there's some things to consider.
Yeah, so, you more stuff if you want to. An alert is live, but live is, so you're sitting, for example, the one over there on O'Reilly, okay, like we will sit probably, I would say, 8 mile up, 4 mile up. Because when it alerts, right, so let's just say 2 seconds, 45 seconds delay. Once it pops up, you can be able to look at it, look at the car, verify that that license plate is what's on the car, verify it, you're looking at it, seeing if it's that license plate reader will read. The license plate we have right here, saying C123, there's numerous states that have to keep C123, right? We don't all have, it doesn't, can't tell it's South Carolina. So it'll pop up, you gotta look at it, so it takes about 10 seconds for you to look at it, verify, boom, okay, that's what it is. Look at the car. If we put it too close to Harbor View and North Shore, what'll happen is, if that's a 50-50 chance, which way to go, right? You know, so, or you might lose 25% of your cars down North Shore. So we try to put it back a little bit further so that cars are trapped. Let's say stolen car goes by, a car goes by, missing child, or missing person, and as soon as they go by, you want to be able to look and be like, that car has got to come by here. So you want to have that person have no way to get out, start going outside. The problem is that we put it too close and they go down North Shore. we're gonna end up running, we don't want to be running 75 mph trying to catch up to the car. So we're trying, that's why the solar option. And now we look, try to figure out what can we do solar, or is it just easier to try to put up electric?
And they identified one place that solar would work as far as not having the tree coverage, but Sean thought better about it being too close to the shore.
It's pretty
So
close,
it may
like
be-
there, it's bridge.
If council approves solar, there may not be a good place, they have to go. with color. That's, that fair.
As far as the bond extension, that's our. Don't have to add that, that's what it is. There is a good pole. It's where the, pump station is. But there's already so many things on that pole, I don't know how we want to put there. We just put it there, it would be on. Have to take like $7, but if we got the power. Won't get the power. I'm pretty good about that.
That's pretty much across the street.
The one I'm talking about is at the pump station.
Yeah, I know what you
Further out, or across some of the other stuff. Not far from the street.
Yeah.
But there's already a lot of power on that pole. You have to the power company and all the stuff. But if you work the shot at it, away from the apartment subdivision and already there's a bunch of other stuff. And it puts you away.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't, where it's at, we just don't want to, like I said, we just want a little bit further back. You know, if you can't put it to work with 4 lanes, then you need 4 cameras. So we got to keep it where it's like, that you can get interesting.
I thought you were saying you wanted it closer to Fort Johnson. You're saying you want it closer to
So yeah, you want it, right, now, right, I want to be able to, so we're trying to get people that are coming out of downtown, because some of these guys, we found out, they never, where that camera, they start doing what's that, they start realizing, get a pop stolen cars right here, yeah, we can tell them, you know, whatever, so that stuff, stuff right there, where we do a lot of crime, leaving out of that area, you put it down there, you're losing all the traffic that you get, so we're trying to put it where like Amy's Cafe, right, that area. So there's no, once you pull on James Island, you gotta go through the license.
So as far as the solar goes, would the solar work at the location that you kind of indicated in this picture here with this pole?
You would have to put up, because the power company's not gonna let us put a solar panel. They let us put our camera, but they wouldn't let us put a solar panel on it.
Their pole.
But you could do a smaller pole with a platform that's made just for the solar panel. Because the solar panel doesn't have to be of high, it could be, and this would be involved, DOT, time to get anything on the road right away. You gotta get their permits and permission, but they shouldn't have a problem. But yeah, you could put the camera there, and that's gonna require an extension to get both lanes. And then you could put a smaller separate pole, maybe 3 or 4 feet off the ground for the solar panel right there.
Okay, very good. Very
This
good.
thing looks in both directions.
There's 2 cameras.
One lane and one lane going that direction.
So,
It's gonna lie.
so do you guys ever have problems with people vandalizing solar panels or cameras?
Not so far that I know of, but I'm sure.
They're on Greenbelt Road,
Right.
they're on School Avenue, they're on East Bay, they're on Dorchester Road. Never heard about them.
Yeah,
But
but
you don't know what they are. When you look at it, it doesn't look like it's a long, thin, black, like it's not, when you see it, it lives in, you gotta be looking for it.
yeah, and that's good. But what I worry about is like the solar panel drawing attention to something there. You know what I mean?
I don't know how.
I mean, I just wonder if that's been an issue for you.
I haven't seen it. I would say that it's never, sure it has. But I see solar panels.
Yeah.
One thing to keep in mind with that location, adding another pole and something like on the ground like that, the Harborwood or Harbor Creek Township, we do not like the thing. Now it's right away, get it permitted, but they will probably have.
So,
Better in our town.
so this is pretty much the only location, this pole on that side, other than if we get the permission near the pump station. Is that what we're looking at here as far as two locations? Or is there another potential?
Just have to be careful when you get further up this way.
Right.
The lanes start getting
Yeah,
more
you
lanes.
get 4 lanes.
So,
Right.
which we can do.
Right.
But with our new cameras coming out, but you could go up here. There is another power pole kind of up here, and it's too far off the road even for an arm extension. But you could put up another. You wouldn't want this tall, but you could get another power pole put up. As long as our cameras need to be 6 to 8 feet from the road. That's why you need a 12-foot arm extension there. So then all you would have to do is you could do either solar, on the DOT's got approved pole, but you could do 2, and this is right just past where that subdivision starts.
Okay.
And you could put a pole, as long as DOT approved, out as far as we need it. And then you could do either solar, or you could jump off the pole that is beside you, either one. That gives you 2 options.
I have a question.
The way we should. Or is that we need both,
Yeah,
or one of the other.
I'm going to make a motion for the solar, but I think that what we need to do is really do a study about where the best location would be, that would satisfy all the needs for the system to work and not be too much of a hindrance on the community. That is the Harbor Creek people.
And,
All right.
and the aesthetic.
Right. So,
Gotta go.
Motion to approve, solar. There's a second. Okay. And now we'll discuss it, and we're adding. Where we put it.
I have a question. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So with any of these poles, we're gonna have an arm put out. Is there any option where you wouldn't have to have an arm extension? I'm just
they
thinking of
gotta
like,
be over there.
it has to be over like
Yeah,
this.
it's gotta be
Like
6
if you were this,
Unless the pole is close enough.
and there's no place in any of the places that you want it that they're close enough, is that correct?
There's the one that I talked about that's down by the pump station.
Yeah,
That's really perfect, but
Yeah.
it's got a lot of power stuff all.
Yeah. Yeah.
The PSD one where they have the sign, the PSD sign is over there. Yes.
It's more like, this is before you get there.
Okay.
But the different pump station. It's the pump station that's close.
Okay.
It's like,
Not the-
the house there, it's on the other side.
Not the
Once you-
mega.
Okay. All right.
once you
Okay.
come over the bridge, and you're headed towards Lake Harris Teeter, is it right there on the right? Is that the one that's kind of up on the hill? And there's a house on the other side of the street. Remember that cross street?
But anyway, I think that it's. Coming off there, it's on the left, past the house. The house there is not obvious.
Mhm.
Right there.
And
I
that
don't
pole is close to the road, and that is a good location.
like-
I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know where it is. Yeah. That's actually really close to the road too. So that is an ideal.
matter if they give permission to put it up.
Right, so on the Fort Johnson side of the bridge, going over the creek, you have North Shore peeling off right there to the right.
That's what's going on down there.
These cameras wouldn't be able to tell, like,
The problem is by the time it alerts, the car's already gone. So in other words, you don't know which way they're going. So there's too many places.
That's what I'm saying, you
so-
couldn't set it in a way that it's telling you.
Like that. It's
No,
just
it doesn't. No, it just takes a picture of the car
or
and it does you, like, oh, there it is.
Little piece right there, and there's a house right there, right in front of the house. There's like a PS pump station.
It's live sometimes.
Right there. I know. 'cause
So
I
it goes out over like a cell phone broadcast,
Deal
That
with
would
it,
be-
because nobody
that would
noticed.
be
did y'all
great.
get like
But
a,
it would be like.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
I
like,
mean,
you know,
alert, yeah, oh, yeah, it'll work.
stuff.
Car
Like,
pop
my
up.
mom for solar.
And you'll see the tag, doing on the tag, say what the tag is. Say what type of car it is. Say Ford Mustang. A lot of times the tag is the wrong car.
do y'all, so is this the same group that does the other ones in town?
Everywhere.
Like all North Charleston?
They're the only ones that have access to SLED. SLED is the only one for SLED.
So this system locks in with one that's on, Jolly,
Bollywood.
Jolly Road.
Jolly Road.
They,
Jolly.
do they talk? Like, is there like a web, you know, of, so you
Absolutely.
can see someone coming?
Absolutely. You can run all the cameras throughout the state. They'd also pop it in alert.
All of the cameras that we sell in South Carolina, they're all tied to SLED. So sheriff's office can log into the software. They can look at any camera of our cameras in South Carolina. So if they've got a suspect came to James Island, broke into a bunch of cars, they know his tag number. They can put that tag number into the computer. It'll tell every camera. That's
Ping, and the timestamp and all that
The other
stuff.
night, we had a guy with dementia on 17 that left his house, and we set an officer right there by the ALPRs. Sure enough, he went by. Okay. So he said he was going forward. So, yeah. So we just got to figure out where to put it, and that's it. That's not mine. He knows what I'm looking for. He knows what it is. It's like an ATM. I just want to put my card in. Money. It's a pretty solar stuff. And, so that means, right, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed? That passes.
thank you.
Next, we go to the temporary.
Yes, part of the last. They may be different. That earlier today. In addition to the conceptual that you have in the packet, the cost.
I didn't forget, I skipped your,
That's okay.
Maybe, project code 18,085, I did have 20 budgeted for this. And basically what they're doing is they're, not reinventing the wheel, but taking the script that we already have from the history booklet, and putting that up on the panel. History Council has recommended a few things such as, maybe we don't, the private property, private homes, maybe we don't want to put those up forward, but they're in the booklet. Things like that.
motion. Second. Discussion.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is really the place to do this, but I'm a little bit concerned of some of the rhetoric that's on one of the panels. And it's the panel that talks about fiery succession, all right? Fiery succession, politicians and most of the free population in Charleston and on James Island supported secession and the Confederate government. I don't think that can be denied. But the way that the rhetoric is it seems like that's the majority of people that were living on James Island who were supporting it. I would venture that most of the population in Charleston and on James Island were opposed to secession and opposed to slavery because they were enslaved Americans. So editorial change might be to just put 4 words in front of that fiery secession statement that says, though in the minority, comma, and then talk about the free population making the decision. But
Can I share your concerns that things about the slave population is relevant. But as it was explained to me, no, that's not right. And then if you think about what was sent to us, it's more the things about different things available are, colors that we're going to use.
right.
And the actual language is not.
Well, I think
the language is,
Yes,
I will take into consideration.
I think the story is
about
important.
that.
I think the story is important. And I think the rest of it looks very nice. I think the choice in illustrations is wonderful. But I think we have to watch our rhetoric here and be truthful about what was actually going on.
So the history committee, the history weighed in on the language, actually the actual language. And it'll, already.
So this is
I
already,
shared that, right, I don't find any of that offensive that was shared to us. That's fine. Seems very limited. But that was all we said. I don't think that's it. And maybe there's too much of that anyway. But we still haven't got that.
well, the Battlefield Trust has a pretty nice synopsis of what happened on James Island at the beginning of the Civil War. And I think that that would be perhaps something that the History Commission may consider in their deliberations moving forward.
Any other questions? Yes.
Share Councilor Milliken's concerns. Fiery secession shows up a lot, but we're not married to that phrase. Is there any?
Think about that whole thing, looking at what it said. Look at the next panel, where it's made up words.
Mhm.
So why? But that's
I'm
not
more
made up.
concerned about why we're using made up.
That's
It's more
the
like,
normal-
how are you the
Using made up words is the normal way that people show a concept. That concept in English.
even say that anybody went.
But when you read one panel like that, with that kind of rhetoric, you begin to wonder what else is going to be mentioned on the ones that are going to be developed. And I just think we need to be sensitive about the true history.
So I would hope that, that look at our booklet. And, have heard like what they're let them know. They will.
Right.
I spoke with Andrew about some of these concerns. They when not just looking at that panel, but looking at all of the panels together, the story, because we do have a lot of sections of the booklet that talk about, slave population, black churches, black schools, and tells a better whole story. And he did recognize that being said.
But when you say it's the majority of the population, that's a little bit misleading when you consider how much of the population was enslaved.
But instead of doing repopulation,
Right.
clarification.
Clever.
Level.
Yeah.
Anyway, take that another time.
Yeah.
Keyboard. Any Any other comments? Hearing none, ready to vote, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
That passes. Next, we have driveway apron repair. Oh, I know, I think that, sorry, putting it, Dominion smart meter request.
Yes, this is actually a request to get a representative from Dominion Energy made available to our citizens to answer questions about the conversion of their meter reading policy. They want to put automatic meter readers on the gas meters. And while this sounds like a good idea, there is no cost doing this unless you opt out of it, in which case there's a rather large monthly fee associated with it. So I just wanted people to know what their options were and to perhaps have the ability to ask Dominion Energy questions about the nature of the signals that are being sent by their smart meters. So that's where this is coming from.
So, you make the motion that we have Dominion comment for the council
Yeah,
about the smart meter request. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The representative.
Oh, hi, Helen.
Yeah, I know. It read our agenda, asking about. Would like to be someone. to be
okay, good. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so next we're going to the giant driveway apron.
Yeah, so on the apron repairs, there's three. So I want to take those together separately. Mark can make comments on those pictures also.
I'd like to make the motion that we take them together.
I second. I second. Sorry.
So, I don't, the other way. This one removed, consider them separate. Then we.
I'm sorry, what do you
make
want?
a motion to approve? What do you do to make a motion to approve all?
Yes,
Is there, and you have a second?
I second. Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, what's the staff recommendation for West Philly Drive?
Someone that's official and everything, we'll see if that's not related. That's strictly overstressing concrete at the end of the apron there, is far away from the cross line pipe. And there was additionally, this property has 3 driveway entrances. We already replaced 2.
Which one is that?
West
The west ticket
So the recommendation
is not.
and Waterloo Street.
Yes, that one is a complete mess. That needs to be replaced because the pipe separated underneath it, causing
looks like
erosion
it needs to be
on the base and cracks. Destroyed the entire.
And League Street. Recommendation.
Lee Street is the same. It has pipe separation and cracks. All of it.
Yeah,
But
but
these are
now-
all pipe, these are all graded. Those.
I have a question, please. So with the West Piccadilly, so the other 2 repairs for the driveways, they were like this as well?
Just about, yeah.
Okay, so,
They were not rated the way we.
No, they are graded related. This one is, if you.
the other 2 for Piccadilly, were they drainage related?
Some of the 3 driveways.
Oh, on Piccadilly, yes, those other 2 that we did for that property, yes, they were graded. But this one, it's a good 5 feet away from the pipe
So
and doesn't.
does water stand on that road right there? No? So I guess I'm just, my question is, it kind of looks like the soil is soft underneath it and the concrete doesn't have proper support underneath it for whatever reason, which I would think probably could be because the ground is staying wet, et cetera, because the pipe looks pretty well buried in there to me.
You'll also notice there's a lot of grass growing there, so it's been that way for years. And probably was due to heavy something, particular traffic.
Who lives in Pickett? Who requested the repair?
The owner requested, but I just don't know.
Well, it's a little hard to see about the grass area here. Is there a big drop off from the driveway along the edge near the culvert? No drop off?
I wouldn't say no drop off.
But then there's this gap between what collapsed and the rest of the driveway that looks to be at least 4 to 5 inches where we've lost material underneath it.
Yeah.
So to me, that might be drainage related. I think it might be.
It is in the right of way, but it's not caused by our drainage.
It's not caused by like a separation of the drainage pipe. Is that drainage pipe totally like cleared out? Or is it? I'm not trying to.
We have not had any reports, and I have not noticed, when I go by there when we have rain events, that there is a flooding issue.
Okay.
Now, that's not to say we get any issues. It will.
So, given our staff recommendations, I no objection to like.
So, question about that. We do some and not the others, and then whoever requested it can still come back and ask for it again. Why? Something like that.
Well, yes, but what would happen? And so we would vote on West Piccadilly Drive, then we would vote on Waterloo, then we would vote on.
So this is a new motion then?
It's nice that without objection, no objection, like that, vote separately, given the staff recommendation. It's not a motion.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to fix them all because they're in the right of way.
There are objections. Voting.
Point of order, don't we have to vote on the motion first?
No, right? If there's no objection, what we'll do, my next step will be to vote on West Piccadilly Drive, and then we'll vote up or down. Then we'll go to Waterloo, and then we'll leave the street.
There's a motion pending right now. Don't, unless you're making another motion within that motion, I think we have to vote on.
I think that all you have to do is say, I object. All you have to do, I object.
You don't have to object if that's not the correct mechanism to vote.
It's in order to request that the item be considered separate. And Mr. Chairman, I object.
You can say whatever you want, I'm just saying, I don't think that's the
Okay,
Robert's
so-
rules. Paul.
Then we're gonna go ahead and vote on West Piccadilly because I heard.
I object.
Okay, so we are now discussing voting for all three separate recommendations. Any other? All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Nay. So that passes. Okay, next, Fox Crop, round, crop, public hearing. Ashley, it's right there.
Yeah.
So we did meet with, Dominion staff to go over the preliminary plan. We did have a subsequent conversation with council today. There were some additional questions. These power lines run the back of the property. They would have to be moved to the front of Foxcroft, but
Is there a motion in favor? Is there a second?
Second.
Right, any discussion?
Yeah, I had a difficult time looking at the DCAD drawings that they made of this. It was pretty hard to follow because it's small, and if you tried to enlarge it, the text just went away. So it was really hard to figure out exactly what was happening here. But one question that I have about this has to do with the number of transformers and the number of boxes that are there. There's 9 transformers that I was able to count, and they're still going to need 9 boxes. I guess 4 of those are going to be the switch gear boxes, and 5 are going to be the smaller transformer boxes. So that's what I was able to figure out with the plan, but that's about it because they were pictures. So is there anything, any way that you could get more than 2 houses on a transformer? That's the question that I have, because it just seems like if you're putting them underground, you should be able to perhaps have fewer boxes above. And I know that's probably beyond what we can answer here, but it's just something I wonder about, because it just seems like an awful lot of boxes. Public Works guy is shaking his head, so. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Transformers, the boxes themselves are a certain size, so they can split off out, they have bigger. More out, do the equipment inside. I can show you the picture.
Oh, I've seen the picture. Yeah.
All right, and then you're right about the switch. This is all run by electrical engineers and same thing we have on the other lines.
All right. Yeah, it just seems like those switchgear boxes are huge, and you could maybe, I don't know.
Well, maybe we could get an example somewhere else to go look at. We ask them for that, an example of some other place that has a similar setup.
Big front box.
Okay.
Baby,
Baby
Maybe-
farm?
Big, yeah.
So in that neighborhood, in the fronts of the lots, they have these.
Front or back. Okay.
Well, if this passes, public meeting, right, I think it's a good thing to have pictures, but
Oh, yeah. So another question, has the neighborhood been notified that this is something that might be coming?
yeah.
Were you able to gauge at all what the interest was?
Even council representatives sent something out.
Well, and so when they started doing the survey, we looked at that. I did make them aware, so we can let everyone else know. Didn't really want to go that step in gauging their interest yet until they actually saw what they were saying they were interested in.
Right.
Just
I think it's worth their information. I think the council has to consider that this is committing $250,000 out of the general fund budget, as well as basically all the money in our electrical improvement budget. So it's not like we can do this and something else next year. 5 years from now, we'll have about this much money in that fund. And $250,000 is $500,000. Basically, half of it is paid for by the venue, and then half of it has to come out. Remember the first discussion, if we instead done this work on, say, Johnson Road, then half would come out of the Polymath account. It would still be, use it all up easily. This is like 10, 11 houses now, for this is what we're doing. So for 11 houses, right now there are other people who benefit from this because power out. But the bearing, not much. If we instead had done Fort Johnson Road, it would be a lot of Fort Johnson Road. So
Right.
it's a very slow process. But in any case, I don't concerned with neighborhood. You know, what people in the neighborhood, if they're not interested in it, and that would give us a good reason to do it. If they are interested in it, we still would have to make a decision whether this is the right.
Okay.
So, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. So be sure to let everyone know that. And we want to be sure to have.
Other neighbors. And I think what would be important is pictures of other neighborhoods that have been more retrofitted. Maybe like Crescent, or that newer neighborhoods, they put big box, maybe on property lines. So,
Yeah, we don't want to be used to pay, well, maybe.
Right.
Oh, you know, the rest of our will lose. So we think they would know kind of what they're like. This is like, you know, maybe our friends. All right, next we go to Field Street, Inlet Box, over here. Actually, right now.
all right, this is the box on Hill.
Yes, there's a failure of, the route inside the junction box right there, which has caused a sinkhole in the front yard.
Okay, is a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay, next we'll go to,
Point of order, I wanted to make a motion to amend.
well, when we get to, business. Next, meeting reports, we have, planning committee,
I have no report.
environmental beautification.
Yes, James Island Pride had a litter pickup last Saturday. We had a great turnout. We had 30 people. A lot of kids from the James Island Charter High School football team and ROTC came out. We also had representatives from student council. The 30 people were able to remove 24 bags of litter from our island roadways. So that's a pretty good amount. This was an adopt a highway pickup, so we did the usual roads that we were assigned. Magically, the DOT picked up the trash, so that was a real positive thing as well. Our next litter pickup isn't going to be scheduled for some time. We're planning on doing a gorilla pickup sometime in August, probably to focus on Riverland Drive. All right, because there's a lot of trash there. So that's probably going to happen in August. Then we're going to have another one late August that's adopt a highway. So those two things are happening. We've got plenty of volunteers to fulfill our helping hands obligations right now through the summer. So that's a positive thing as well. Thanks to Stan Kozakowski for doing that. That's all I have.
Any questions? There's no report for children's committee. Public safety. Talk about one part and it's working for a long time. Studying is great. Like I'm sorry, it's just maybe that. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right. Oh, that's it. Right, you know, thanks for. Industry council that choose and discuss possible working with history, rail, down towards the harbor, with us, on property, and another big item was discussion, proposed addition thing. And we'll check. Road is meeting next Wednesday at 3:30. That's the first
No, it's virtual.
virtual meeting. More information about that. Any questions? Next, go to great.
No report?
Re-advisory committee,
No report.
change on council.
And then, Chairman Honeycutt had mentioned, about scheduling in September. So we'll work on that.
All right, proclamation, resolution. So, proclamation, whereas hard work dedication, federal teamwork, 2021, girls soccer, girls soccer, girls soccer, girls basketball, triple A, 4A, baseball, always A. Whereas only, by honor and recognition of our schools and both whereas parents, staff, parents, faculty, supervisors, guidance,
Excuse me, I'd like to modify the proclamation. I think council feels very positive about this proclamation too, and we would also like to join the mayor in honoring these great sports teams. So if you would add mayor of the town of James, mayor and council, we'll be happy to vote for it, because I'm pretty proud of them too.
All in favor, say
I,
aye. Opposed? So we wouldn't ask you to vote for it, but I don't have to.
We snuck it in.
Hey, just a little side note. They wanted to be here tonight, tonight's athletic meeting. So, and then a few of the coaches are out for vacation, but they are all gonna be here in August, just to recognize them.
Very good.
And we have no ordinances up for first reading or second reading. And so, next is new business.
I'd like to make an amendment. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to vote that the town destroy checks that are being saved in the recycling bins that were dumped out on the floor.
Second.
Okay, is there, so this is a action that, so in order to do this, require two things, require 2/3 vote to bring this to the agenda. But then actually vote it, it requires to determine this is a matter of emergency, they cannot be. Which I think clearly. So to vote on this meeting, violation. Okay. But we can put it on the agenda. So it takes 2/3.
Okay.
So, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? No. So forth. So that passes. Okay. So now we will consider destroying these documents.
So I don't,
So again, so it'll only add something to the agenda and that takes requires final action. And vote if it's an. If we were going to just discuss it, then it takes.
Well, I think those bins of paper are a fire hazard.
I think the data that's on there needs to be destroyed. destroyed, it's irresponsible to keep it. And it is. And I asked to put this on the agenda on Thursday, thinking that we were still operating under our pandemic at up until Friday. I was told that now we need to have things submitted by Wednesday at 5. So to me, it is an emergency because these are canceled checks, and at my office they would have been destroyed as soon as we came back. I think most businesses would destroy them within some reasonable amount of time after that. To learn that they've been stored unsecured for about a decade is troubling. So to me, it is important. I do think that it's urgent, and I think that we can vote properly to dispose of them. Number two, they serve no useful purpose at all. There is no reason for us to hold on to those checks. When you balance the risk of how they could be misused against the benefit of keeping them, and there is no benefit, to me, we need to shred those things tonight or tomorrow morning.
So there are no canceled checks. So you're a major argument.
Cancel checks, let's say return checks, they're checks. They have citizens' names on them, they have bank account information on them. I'm not a sophisticated perpetrator of fraud, but I'm concerned that in the wrong hands, that information will be used criminally.
They don't.
And
Yes.
again, they're useless. They have no benefit to us to maintain them, and they could be misused. So we should get rid of them.
I was given a plausible reason for people.
I used to bank, I noticed that a lot of these bank statements were from First Federal. I used to, is that the case? And I used to bank at First Federal, and I saw in those documents images of the checks that were cashed, and it also shows the back of the checks that has all the banking information on them, on the copies, on the images that they send you with your statement.
I was just looking at they show the front check.
That's a strange thing to do, just to look at these canceled checks. They should be
They're not
purged.
canceled.
They're
I'm using the
images.
wrong word, they're checks. Check it, using the wrong language. I shouldn't say canceled checks. They're not canceled, they're unnegotiated, unused, they're just bank drafts sitting in 2 recycle bins. And I have yet to hear anything from anyone that would support the need to have them.
Well, we have people on the explain that it's just so easy for the town to mail out checks to all the citizens. Much easier than reducing the amount of money.
Yeah.
This is
James, I don't
concrete
see all
and
the time.
evidence that it was not easy, that it was a serious problem for a good bit of difficulty for our citizens and for the residents.
But then I would
And
say
that's why
you can
I believe it is.
stack them up and weigh them and take pictures of them and document, make a big tower out of it and show how tall it is. And let's get rid of them.
Because
So I would
when,
like the county clerk to explain, are we obligated to get rid of them? The question was, you're obligated to get rid of them. Do we have a document, protocol? Do you destroy all that? We're not obligated.
It's prudent to do so.
I can't hear you.
The follow-up question is, it is prudent to do so.
It is an emergency that it must be done tomorrow. The town council is reporting this is an emergency. And here these documents have been, safely stored for
I-
years.
Is that emergency part
disagree.
correct?
I disagree
Is
because-
correct? Has to be an emergency. Okay, how do we define emergency?
Right.
Not actually defined. Risk of danger to life,
How about property? Risk of danger to property.
fire, burning across that, that's a dangerous property.
The mayor almost had a major health issue when he was demonstrating the check by dumping them out. I was concerned about that. The checks almost caused a major health issue. And I think that could have been an emergency. I feel like this is an issue. I don't see what the problem is in getting rid of the checks now, because there is probably nothing that requires us to keep the checks. So that's another side of the question. Is there anything legally binding to the town that makes us keep the checks? Yeah. I think my opinion is shared by others on this council.
To use your example of a fire coming, we're not gonna assemble council and have a vote, if there's a fire coming, we're just gonna act. Right, it's a council question.
Council question. But you will have to determine whether this was allowed.
Is it hurricane season
Way
now?
the requirements that we put
Those
in.
checks might.
I mean, I think
Well,
we're-
right.
I don't think it's qualified.
So, we had a 2/3 vote to add it to the agenda, so it's properly added. You put it this way, if we don't vote on it now, I'm gonna bring it up next month. So what is the difference in waiting till next month? Let's destroy them now. In a month's time, when they're sitting in a conference room where I'm told that their contractors coming and going from the building and they're unsecured, let's just get rid of them. There is no reason.
So is there any further discussion?
They were in here with the planning commission when I was here for the last meeting, and if you've had people in here looking at the AC, I mean, they were sitting right there. I sat right next to them, so did Brookline, they were, well, no, I realize that they're not there now, but
So
what
is
I'm
there-
saying, I'm so sorry. But what I'm saying is that's not a safe, secure location when people have been coming in and out, and I would not want my private information out so that some guy could pick a piece of paper out of there to write on and be like, oh, hey, look at that. You know, that's not safe and secure, and they've obviously been there since our last meeting.
It's important to understand that information about property tax is not private. How much credit do people receive on the property tax is not private. You can go to the county website right now and pull out any of our property tax bills and see exactly what it's like. So there's not private information. The address of the property. In fact, all the information the town utilized to send the check was just taken from the county website. The information is almost entirely public. We can look and see if there's some private banking information, but I don't believe that there's private banking information in our state. That if our state
But there
is
might-
taken, that the citizens have their private information.
They're return checks, right? They have a routing and an account number on them. And it takes otherwise public information and gathers it into one place and puts it right on top of a routing and account number. Like Frank Abigail, if you were here, he lives in Charleston. He could tell you about how check fraud works. I mean, mind blowing to me that we have kept them for a decade at all. It's mind blowing to me that you will defend them any further. They have way outlasted any useful purpose that they've ever
Well,
had.
I think there's no absolute risk that they're going to install it for fraud. It isn't. But anyway, so let's see if there's any further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. And so that passes by the item is not an emergency matter. Council has no authority to pass this motion without being properly listed on the agenda.
I tried. You told the administrator not to put it on.
So would it be in order to add this to the agenda for the next meeting? At this
Actually,
time?
I want to make a motion for an emergency meeting next week. We'll vote on this then.
Can that happen at an emergency meeting?
So what you need to do is make an emergency for
I mean, we don't need to do anything to properly pass this. You're unilaterally deciding that you're not going to enforce
what
it.
you need to do if you want to have, if you want to follow at this meeting as possible. That's it is possible.
I agree with you, but none of it's necessary to this pass. It's done.
All right, so going on, is there any interest in going into executive session? Hearing none. Now for announcements and closing comments. Council Bull.
Again, congratulations on your promotion. Now Lieutenant James. And glad that we're back in person. I hope we get the air conditioning fixed very soon. Stay safe.
Sure.
Congratulations, for sure. Thank you, everybody, for all your hard work.
Thanks to everybody. I especially want to thank staff for all their help that they give us all the time. Thank you.
So I really want to urge citizens of the town of James Island to get back. Reach 60% of our population has had at least one vaccination. That's great progress, but it's really important to continue to increase that number. You know, I think 75 to 80% of the people need. Just today, I was at CBS on Harmony Road and, you know, had to make an appointment, but they were doing both vaccines. So thank you.
I'm so sorry. I have one last little comment. I know our sound quality has been really off. I would like for us to maybe think about getting actual microphones in front of all of us so that people can hear us and so that I can hear you guys too, because it makes it really difficult for the meeting. And that was it.
Right, so we go with business.
Sorry.
Wireless microphones, actually, we first hear feedback.
Yeah.
They didn't work. So then we got the wire.
Now you can't move them.
Now we can move them. So, and we look at
Like how long? I'm good with that.
Yes. I like to.
But, I mean, are you having like a board? Even if we stagger it, you know, even if we stagger it. Okay, let's see. No, we didn't.
yeah, and I maybe we even,
Because when I was here, well, because
Well,
I was,
try to do the whole.
that might not.
but anyway, all right, let's go home. He's living with him, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. I never noticed shaking hands before. I
I'm
don't
not-
mind, but some
I'm
people are
not
like,
worried.
we'll work on it.
Okay.
You can figure it out.